What's good? What is good? Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel like my hairpiece just fell off behind the couch. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woo! I need some water. Like I just ran the touchdown. Oh my God. Oh my God. In case you have been living under a rock, oh my God. Oh my God. That was not good for my health. That was not good for my health. I know it. I might as well, like literally eat nothing but pork and slime, and it would be just as good for my health as that game. The Bears win, honestly, one of the more amazing games, and I'm not even saying this is quality play, but one of the most amazing football games I've ever watched. And I'm an old man. I have been watching the NFL for well over 40 years. I don't really remember off the top of my head a more crazy game than what we just saw. Bears win 47-42 in just, I don't even know how to describe what I just saw. The Bears had this game locked up, okay? Totally locked up 41-27. They give up 15 points in less than a minute. I got a lot of stuff to say about a lot of stuff, but Caleb hadn't been playing well most of the game. His second half was definitely better than the first half. But when the game was on the line, I got to give credit where credit is due. He had a couple panicky plays on that last drive, but when it was time, he stood in the pocket, delivered what turned out to be the game-winning touchdown to Coastal freaking Loveland. We have landed on Loveland. Loveland didn't land on us. I don't know how to say. You know what I'm saying. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's too much to talk about. It's too much. Where do we begin? Let's look at the numbers. Caleb, 20 for 34, 280 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He's also caught a touchdown pass. The game winner was an absolute dart over the middle to Coastal Loveland. He shakes off bad Bengals tackling and goes the rest of the way, 58 yards for the game-winning touchdown. That was his second touchdown of the game. He had 6 catches for 118 yards. If you saw my keys to victory and what I said in the preview, we talked about this being a breakout game for Coastal Loveland, and he broke the hell out. Oh, my God. No, but we can't talk about this game, really. And I know he didn't get a lot of touches, especially in the fourth quarter, but we cannot talk about this game, despite all of the fantastic stuff that happened, without talking about Kyle Monungai. Oh, my God. I'm trying to tell you, I feel like my ponytail fell off behind the couch. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I mean, bruh, I'm trying to tell y'all, this was something else. 26 rushes for 176 yards. I wish he had gotten in the end zone. Guess what, y'all? Guess what else? I started Kyle Monungai and Coastal Loveland in fantasy today. What? This is crazy work. This is crazy work, y'all. Crazy work. So DJ Moore had a solid game. I wish he would have got more targets. 4 catches for 72 yards. Let's shout out Britton Brown, too. Called up from the practice squad this morning. 5 carries, 37 yards on the ground. He actually had a touchdown. That would have been Monungai's touchdown, but he had hurt his ankle on the play right before that. That might have also been why they didn't run him as much as well, because I think he might have been a little bit banged up. But that was fine. Alomide Zakia, 6 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. We had Caleb Williams had 2 catches for 22 yards and a touchdown. Crazy work. Kyle Monungai, 3 catches for 22 yards. Cole Kmet had 1 catch for 10 yards. He got hurt on the play. He caught it. Honestly, it was Caleb's fault. The pass was inaccurate. It was high, left Cole Kmet vulnerable. He didn't get a chance to set got hit, took a shot in the head, went out with a concussion. This is a tough year for Komet. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Komet, and I even talked about potentially being trade bait, but I like Komet. It's a real tough year for him. Tremaine Edmonds, fantastic game. He had a big interception. They called it back. Should have been a pick six. I didn't really agree with the call. We win it anyway. Tyreek Stevenson, solid game. Actually, I talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson, how I'm not a fan of him as his personality. I thought he played pretty solid today. I think he gassed out a little bit late, like most of the Bears defense, but he did have a sack today. Jaquan Brisker was trash. Okay. We won today, not had anything to do with Jaquan Brisker being good. He's trash. He played like trash. He's in the doggone locker room in the morning, earlier this week, talking about all his trash talking. Now, I don't want you to talk. I want you to cover in cover two. That's what I want you to do, not get burnt up the middle like we did against the Bengals today. Nonetheless, I'm not going to go negative, but Brisker was trash today. Byard was decent. He was a little shaky as well. T.J. Edwards was okay. Nashawn Wright had a couple big plays, but he also still proves to us every week that he's not an NFL corner. But he also did have the pick at the end. I believe that was his pick at the end. It was batted up, and it was a Hail Mary. Joe Flacco's dealing with an AC joint. He doesn't have an arm anymore to get it all the way for a Hail Mary. The ball was short. Nashawn Wright gets a second or third pick of the season for him. Sealed the game. Duvernay had a good return. It ended up getting called back, so he's still yet to make an impact. The Santos was shaky today. The fact that the Bears win this game might have saved his job. No, I'm not going to hold you. No lie. The Bears lose this game today, we might be really having a serious Jake Moody conversation tomorrow. But they win, and it doesn't cost them. But he missed a kick. I think it was deflected. He missed another one. That one, he got bailed out because of a penalty. He was 5 for 5 on extra points, but 2 for 3. Tough day. You know who is consistently strong, don't get a lot of love, is Torrey Taylor as a punter. He was fantastic. But we also got to talk about how good Joe Flacco was. I'm just going to be honest. With a sprained AC joint, bro went out here, went for 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Only one of them is real. The last one is on a Hail Mary. The game he had was unbelievable. I'm not going to lie. Chase Brown, I thought, played hard, but we did pretty well against the run game. Overall, Bengals only had 46 yards on the ground. But Chase Brown did a lot of damage as a receiver, but he also had some key drops, too. We had 8 catches for 75 yards. T. Higgins is a freaking monster. And I'll be honest, we might have got a little bailed out by the fact that he got hurt on one of the play right before the last touchdown. He had 7 catches for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game. Jamar Chase is elite. Even when in a game when it feels like you somewhat contained him, he still had 6 catches for 111 yards. They ate against a battered Bears secondary today. Let's see. Flacco did have the fumble. Great play by Montez Sweat. Well, actually, no, that wasn't the fumble. Austin Booker forced the fumble. Austin Booker makes an impact in his first game. I thought that the Sweat play, they called an incomplete pass. I thought his hand was still back. That should have been another forced fumble, but we didn't get the call. So the Bengals defense is terrible, guys. I can't lie to y'all. It's terrible. They don't tackle well. They don't really cover. Their pass rush was better in the second half, but yeah, that defense is really, really bad. Really, really bad. The way they lost this game at the end, I'll be honest. Obviously, I'm here for the Bears, guys. We know that. But if our safeties had missed that tackle on Colston Loveland and were playing way too deep like they were in that play, I would have grown some hair so I could lose it. That's how mad I would be. They were trash. We did have horrible issues on one aspect of our game. We'll talk about that in a second. So now that I have gotten out my emotional reaction, which is unbelievable here, I want to revisit my keys to victory that I talked about, right? And it turns out, as crazy as this game was, I was really on point with what I talked about. I had 5 keys to victory. One of them was limit penalties. This is the only thing that we didn't do that I said we needed to do to win. I said we needed 5 or fewer penalties. Bears were penalized 7 times. Well, I think it was 8 times for about 15 yards. Well, actually, the 8th one, I think the last one was wiped out. Let me double check. How many penalties did the Bears actually end up with in this game? Either way, we were definitely over the number that I said we needed. Bears penalized 7 times for 43 yards because the last one was declined. But in actuality, that was still a penalty. We also saw I talked about rushing yards and what we needed to get from running backs. I said the running backs needed to go over 100 yards. Did we ever? Bingo. The Bear, I mean, Monangai had 175 yards on the ground by himself. 26 carries for 176 yards. Caleb did have 53 yards on the ground, but Britton Brown chipped in with 37, and DJ Moore had 17 and a touchdown run himself. We talked about turnovers. The Bears needed to force 2 or more turnovers because I did not even think we would get as much pass rush as we got. Bears ended up with 3 turnovers in this game, forcing 3. That was huge. The last one we counted, of course, because it was the Hail Mary, but it was really the 2 before that I felt really clicked on what we needed to. We talked about sacks. I said the Bears needed to get 2 or more sacks. This game, the Bears get to Flacco 3 times. I thought it should have been 4 if they'd have gave us credit for the sack that the Montez Sweat sack, but they didn't give us credit for that. So I felt like we should have, but I thought when he got his hand on the ball, I thought Flacco's hand was still back, but they didn't give us credit for that. So we had 3 sacks. We had 1 by C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Montez Sweat did actually get a sack, and then Austin Booker had the sack and the forced fumble. That's 3 sacks. That's another key we hit on. Then we talked about, lastly, red zone. 60% or better in the red zone. Bingo. Still wasn't perfect in the red zone, but the Bears were 4 for 6 in the red zone getting touchdowns. That's 67% rounding up. So those were the keys I felt for the Bears to win. They hit on those keys. And I'm telling you guys, I've been watching the Bears for a long time, peeps. I've been watching this team for a long time. This is one of the craziest victories I've ever seen. Traditionally, we lose these kind of games. I'm just being real with you. If you've been a Bears fan anywhere near as long as me, you know traditionally we lose these games. To get this one is crazy. I literally thinking as they were driving after they get the onside kick, and what in the hell is Hardy doing blocking when the ball hasn't gone 10 yards yet? That's neither here nor there. We won't talk about that though. After that onside kick, I'm literally sitting there thinking, like, we're going to lose this game. We're literally freaking going to lose a game we were up 14 points on with less than 2 minutes left in this game. We're going to lose. And when I saw 54 seconds left with the Bears getting the ball back, I said, I think they're going to have a chance. I do. I didn't say it out loud, but I said it to myself. I said, I think they're going to have a chance. But I was already trying to woosah so that when I did this reaction stream, I wasn't exploding all over the place, right? Crazy. The pass from Caleb, the reception from Colston Loveland to stay on his feet, protect the ball, and to run through what admittedly was a bad tackle attempt all the way in for the touchdown is an unbelievable way to see this game end. I just, like I'm saying, I can't remember ever seeing a ending or victory like this with any team. Not this high scoring, 47. This is crazy, right? But now let's talk about some other stuff. Right? I gotta dip into some of the negativity here. The special teams play across the board is concerning. We're not covering kickoffs well. We give up a touchdown on the opening kickoff of the game. We're not covering well. This is not the first game that special teams coverage has been shaky. Something needs to go. Then on top of that, we have Cairo Santos come out and be pretty freaking shaky, right? I see you guys here. I think this is Shurya Khan just said, please start Moody for the love of God. Man, I'm trying to tell you, dude, like I really felt during the game, like after the second miss, and I know he got away with the first miss, after the second miss, I was literally thinking like that might be it. I will tell you this thing. This is the only thing about Moody, right? If the Bears elevate him one more time, they have to sign him for the rest of the season, which is going to mean that you're going to have to cut Cairo Santos. They're not going to keep 2 kickers on the 53-man roster. That's just not going to happen. And at this point in Cairo's career, I don't even think it's possible to demote him to the practice squad. So if you're going to make that decision, you have to make, this is a permanent decision for the rest of the season you'll be making. I don't know if they're ready to do that, but I'm going to tell you something. If the Bears had lost this game, that's going to be a serious conversation on Monday. Thankfully, it didn't happen. So when you mix in the fact that we got a guy blocking on special teams on an onside kick before the ball has gone 10 yards, ball hitting his foot, we're not getting a recovery on an onside kick. We're not covering kicks well, not just today, but overall. And then we're getting some sketchy play from our kicker today, who they signed to an extension. You gotta start looking at that special teams coach, bro. It's got to get together. This team is not perfect in a lot of ways, but you cannot give games away with special teams. Same thing with the penalties. We can't afford to do that. We can't have penalty issues and special teams problems. That's how you lose close games. That's how part of the way how we almost lost this game. If you think about it, the onside kick that you don't get, the kick that you don't cover properly to open the game is 14 points. And then you got the field goal that you don't make. That's another 3 points. That's 17 points right there that you can directly point to special teams play as the problem. You cannot you cannot not see that. You cannot not see that. So that's a problem. So that's a negative side. The penalties slightly improved. And here's the other thing. A lot of the penalties was on special teams. What is going on, brother? Like, we had a actual strong return from Duvernay get wiped out by a holding call that didn't even have to happen. Like, Duvernay was already clear when 20 commits the penalty. I don't even know his name. It doesn't matter. Special teams. So that was one of the downsides for sure of what we saw today. The game obviously is beautiful, amazing game, amazing result. Let me correct that. Amazing result, but no way can the special teams continue to play this way. Now I want to go back to something you talked about earlier in here. Looking at some of the comments, Broski Bear, my guy, the legend of Colston Loveland and Kyle Monunga has begun. Brother, I think you might be right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, guys. Today, between Colston Loveland and Kyle Monunga, we got a total of 9 receptions for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. From a rushing standpoint, Monunga 26 carries for 176 yards. I wish he had gotten a touchdown. I really do. But I told people all year long, and I said this even when DeAndre Swift had good games, the problems with the running game were not about the running backs. It was always about the offensive line gelling. Once the offensive line began to gel, running game got better. As good as the running game was with Swift was running, I'm going to tell you today what we saw from Monunga. I'm going to tell you guys, I like DeAndre Swift. I do. But there's no way in the world you could come out next week and DeAndre Swift gets more carries than Monunga. I don't see how you can do that. I just don't. With this game, I mean, I got to look it up to see where this game ranks for like in the all-time rushing game, single game rushing record for the Bears. I know Peyton had tons of 200-yard games. I want to see where this one ranks. And even more importantly, I want to see where it ranks from a Bears rookie rushing yard record. 176 yards is real deal. This was like old school amount of touches. 26 carries. You don't see a lot of running backs pulling 26 carries nowadays. That was pretty impressive. I mentioned Britton Brown earlier. Shout out to him. 5 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. I thought he filled in nicely. Again, we must say the Bengals defense is really bad. Really bad. They literally almost gave up 300 yards on the ground today. That's bad. So while I'm giving the Bears the credit for running the ball well, geez, come on, man. That right there is pretty bad. That is pretty bad, guys. That's pretty bad. Dime says they balled out for us. They sure did. So those are awesome looking children, by the way, sir. Awesome looking kids. The rookies finally balled out today. They really delivered it. Loveland, 6 for 118. And it's crazy how things work, right? Komet missed his first game last week. Loveland starts. Komet comes back this week, gets hurt, and Loveland explodes. Because I'm going to be honest with you. That play, that last touchdown play, that probably would be Komet if Komet's healthy. And I love Komet, but there's no way in the world Komet has the athleticism to take that the distance. There's no way. Even if Komet is able to get there and actually make that catch, more than likely, he's going to go down there, and we now have to depend on Cairo Santos to knock in a game-winning field goal. That play, him taking it the distance, made it academic. So that's a humongous play. Now, I got to talk about Caleb. In the first half, I was highly upset. And the second half, he still had some boneheaded plays. But I definitely believe that he played much better in the second half. He made the plays that he needed to make to get the victory. Statistically, not a horrible game. Completion percentage is still a little bit low. 20 for 34. What is that off? That's just under 60% completion rate. That's definitely not it. It's about 59%. You want a little bit higher than that. But 3 touchdowns. He came up with the plays he made. And then also, let's not forget the 53 yards rushing. Those were big. A lot of those were big plays. He kept the game alive on that last drive with a scramble for the first down. We had to use our first timeout at that point, but that was a third down play. Kept us from being a back against the wall, got to have it on this play kind of deal. I still would love to see him use his check downs more. I think that Colston Loveland has even bigger games if he starts to look at him as the safety valve. I think Monungai and Swift have even bigger games, and I think it opens up stuff down the field. And I think he knows it, but in the actual flow of the game and in the heat of the action, it leaves him for some reason. And it's not for some reason. It's this is football is not easy. Playing quarterback's not easy. And that is the piece, that in his accuracy, because he still misses some balls, he misses some throws. Like, it's crazy. The guy can roll out to his left or his right and put a ball on a dime on the run sometimes. Make a play that hardly nobody else can make. But then he just has a little dump off over the line of scrimmage, over the offensive and defensive lineman to right there to a check down, and he's airmailing those. Sometimes a guy's running clear and open in a mesh or drag route, and he's just too far. Sometimes Odunze or somebody's running an end, and he throws the ball behind him. Actually, there was a touchdown pass he could have had to Odunze. He threw the ball behind him, and Odunze ends up not making a catch. I still think Odunze should have made that. As a number one receiver, you should make that catch. But if Caleb puts it out there in front of him in his hands, we don't not talking about it. So not a perfect game from Caleb by any stretch, but he did what he had to do when it was time to get it done. And he saved himself, honestly, guys. If the Bears lose this game and that last play doesn't go the way it went with Loveland, the conversation, a lot of people, we're gonna have the Bears faithful divided. You're gonna have one half of the people saying, "Oh my God, what are you talking about? The Bears scored 40 some odd points. Caleb had to play okay. There's no way in the world the Bears should lose if you score 40 points. That loss got to go on the defense." And you're gonna have another sect of people saying, "Oh no, Caleb, how many points does Caleb still leave on the field? He should have made these plays." And guess what? Both sides would have been right. But the issue is, it's much easier to have this conversation after a victory than it is to have this conversation after a loss. And thankfully, the Bears are 5-3, 3-2 on the road, and we're not looking like, here we go again, last year over again. Because as many of you remember, the Bears won 4 games in a row last year as well, and then commenced to lose 10 games in a row. So then when you lose last week to the Ravens in a game that most people feel like we should have won, You turn around and blow this game. This just looks like disaster happening all over again. Thankfully, the Bengals are in a worse situation than us. Hopefully, we can get some confidence out of this. I haven't seen who gets the game balls yet, but I gotta believe it's Monunga and Colston Loveland getting game balls, guys. That the two rookies, they gotta get it. And I wonder now too. I've been seeing Ryan Poles get a lot of negative feedback from fans, and I don't think that he's drafted as poorly as people say. I think he has traded poorly. I think the trades have been the part that have been bad. But this game, his rookies busted out. And we're talking about Monunga busting out. And Monunga is he going to get any credit for drafting this guy in the 7th round, putting up this kind of game? Who else drafted a guy? And I'm not a Ryan Poles, oh, hey, but I got to call it like I see it. You draft a guy in the 7th round and he produces this kind of performance and gives you this kind of thought looking forward. Like, wow, I think we really actually have a number 1 running back. That's the thought you got to have after this game. He picked this guy in the 7th round. The tight end who he takes with the number 10 pick finally shows, yes, I have those kind of skills. This is why they take me with number 10 overall. This is finally, I had a Brock Bowers kind of game. So we got to give credit where credit is due. We can't just, dump on people. Coop Farilla says Rick James busting out. I mean, we got to give credit where it's due. When draft picks don't pan out and guys suck, we got to tell them about it. And when guys have games like this, we also got to tell them about it. But just a exhilarating game. I'll be honest with you. I'm spent. I'm probably gonna go to bed at like 10 o'clock or something. It's crazy, bro. This is a absolutely crazy victory, man. I want to know what you guys think. Whether anything you wanted to talk about, you got questions. Like, if you have not liked the video, please do. If you have not yet subscribed, please do that as well. Also, I want to start a segment during the week where I'm kind of like answering questions that you guys are feeding. If you want to argue about something, you want to debate, you want to disagree, whatever it is, whatever questions, drop them in the comments of this video, any video. I'm always monitoring. We're trying to build the channel up. It started off as one thing. Now it's pure bears. So absolutely, by all means, drop those in the comment section. I would love to see DJ Moore get more involved. I know he scored the touchdown on a run play. The Bears got him one rush for 17 yards for a touchdown, but they still only targeted him 6 times. 4 receptions for 72 yards. I would love to see him targeted more than that. He's kind of only getting targeted for a lot of like wide receiver screens and stuff like that. He's not really getting looks down the field. I mean, we look at this. Olamide Zaccheaus had 8 targets today. Loveland was great. He had 7 targets. What's this? Where's Rome? Rome only had 3 targets today. Rome got freaking shut out. I didn't even see that. Rome got shut out today, y'all. 0 catches. 0 catches. 3 targets. Some of it was his fault. He had and DJ did have a passing touchdown today for sure. Surf Dog told me that. Yeah, he did. I forgot it. He threw the touchdown pass to Caleb. He threw the touchdown pass to Caleb. But I did not actually realize that Rome did not have a catch. He literally had no catch. This has got to be the first game of his career that he didn't have a catch. I'm going to look back at his rookie season. I know it's his first game this year. Is this the first game of his career that he did not have a catch? Let's look at 24. Yes. First time in his career that he did not have a catch. Only targeted 3 times. Now, perhaps I have to wait to look at the all-22. Perhaps this was a product of the Bengals really keying on him because they know that he is Caleb's number 1 guy. But no catches is crazy work, especially when, like I said, the pass in the end zone was behind him, but I think that was a catch he should have made. There was another pass that I think was a little low, but as a number 1 receiver, I felt like he should have made that catch too. but he only had 3 targets. Crazy. So maybe that was also why Caleb was struggling a little bit in the first half, because the Bengals were probably bracketing Rome, his primary target, and he kind of didn't know where else to go with the ball. Thankfully, he did make an adjustment. I want to see a breakdown of his second half numbers to see how he was in the second half. But nonetheless, like I said, all of these conversations are so much easier to have after a win. Like, this is crazy work, guys. But I do appreciate everybody popping in. I need to look at some more stats, some more analysis. I need to watch some interviews. I need to look at some all 22. And I'm going to be back tomorrow with a segment I call Grading Caleb. So we're going to go in. As soon as hopefully Bears Film Room drops that all 22, I'm going to take a look at it. I kind of got an idea of what I would give him right now. I'm going to see if it sticks tomorrow. But I'm thinking a B- for Caleb today. And I was trending towards C-, but I'm thinking a B- for Caleb right now. I'll confirm if that's what I think after I get to see the all 22. But what a freaking game, guys. I appreciate everybody coming through, staying with me today. This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik. I appreciate y'all much more than you know. God bless and peace.